Bloodwolf Arts Studio. Unleash the artist within. Welcome to Bloodwolf Arts Studio, and I am your host, Mr. Moonlight. Today we're talking about my next poem in my series titled If the Sun Could Speak. Now, one thing about this next series of poems is that they all kind of started to come out in bursts, and the next few poems were all written the same day. I remember the time I was still in high school. I remember I was staying over at my aunt's place. I was doing a virtual online high school, and it made sense to do school at her place. I was living over there for a while because I needed the fast internet, and most of the places on the farm did not have fast internet. So that was part of why I was living over there. And that was when I really started to write a lot of these. I wasn't living at home anymore, like where I grew up for a while. And I feel like a part of that possibly perpetuated this burst of poetry that came out. Um, Now this poem was the first one where it was not so much about the struggles I was dealing with, at least maybe so directly, but because not all the poems I wrote were necessarily about struggles, and this was one of the first ones that kind of accentuated that. This one is called "If the Sun Could Speak," and it was all about the perspective of life and things from the sun. Basically, just seeing the sun as if it's alive, as if it's something that's living, and seeing life through the eyes of the sun. And of course, everything was filtered through the beliefs I had growing up, and it reflected a lot of my beliefs about Jesus. And my beliefs about Jesus have changed a bit since then. But in the LDCC, the perspective of Jesus is that essentially Jesus is God. Jesus is the creator, and in the doctrine and the belief system, then essentially Jesus grew up on other planets and basically ascended and evolved as a soul and got to a place where he essentially graduated and became a god, where he now had dominion over the planet, like the god of this planet. And that's essentially how Jesus is seen in the LDCC religion, where he's not God, but he's God to us on this planet. And there's a bit expressed in this about the glory of the sun. There's so much that the sun does. A little bit of a kind of a dialogue between myself and the sun, but mostly the conversation is the sun talking about their perspective and how they see things and seeing things through the eyes of Jesus as God. There's a lot of gratitude about the sun. There's a lot of gratitude about the sun's purpose, and a bit about how like the sun's glory doesn't even compare to that of Jesus, the creator. And one of the big parts of this that was expressed, uh, a big part of myself that was expressed through this was understanding that life doesn't always make sense and moving forward, just trusting, having faith, um, just having faith in the journey, having faith in life, and being grateful for what I have, for the life I have, for the things I have received and have been given from my Creator. And so there's a lot about this. It's mostly just about gratitude for myself, but that's all seen through the eyes of the belief systems I had at the time that I grew up with. I would say at the time the beliefs were just very different. I guess a lot of beliefs that are similar to Christianity, but you know, with an LDS spin to it, fundamentalist LDS kind of spin to it in an isolated culture. So thank you for listening, and go ahead and head over to my TikTok channel, Mr. Moonlight, where I will be reading this poem, If the Sun Could Speak. It's dated April 30th, 2011. So go ahead and check that out. Also, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and go check out Facebook. And I've also got a website where you can go purchase my books, the two books I have published so far. and I'll just have all that stuff kind of listed in the comments and have links just put everywhere that makes sense in the video. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the other side.